This is the only video you need to start building APIs using Node and Express. First, we are going to create our Nodejs project and we are going to understand the file structure. Second, we are going to connect our project with a database, which was MongoDB Atlas. And third, we are going to create 4 APIs for a to-do application. First, to put data on the database. Second, to fetch to-dos from the database. Third, to delete a particular to-do. Fourth, to update a particular to-do. So let's start it. To use Node.js, first you need to download and install Node.js. So for that, came to this nodejs.org website and download this LTS version. After you download, just next, okay, install, and it will install on your system. Okay, now for a cross check, it was successfully installed or not. Open your terminal and type node -v. If you see some version like this, means your Node.js is successfully installed. Now we need something else called npm. Npm is just a package manager. Type npm -v and you also should see some version, and this npm automatically installed with the Node.js. Okay, all right, so now we successfully have Node.js. Open your VS Code and let's start build our Node.js app. So for that, first open your terminal and initialize our Node.js project. How? Type npm init. It will initialize our Node.js project. Hit enter. Now it's going to ask you some question. What is the package name? I can say learn node version. I can take default description. I don't want to give entry point. Getting it? It is going to ask you question. If you don't want to give answer, you can just hit enter. It will take automatically. All right. So now you can see it created a packages.json file, and in this file we have information about our project. All right. Now what we need to do, we need to create an index.js file. Index.js file. We are going to write our all code under the file. Okay, so now we need to use Express to make our life easier. Okay, to use Express, we need to first download and install Express in this project. How can you do that? npm I Express. It will install Express. Okay, and very soon you can see there should be a node modules folder created. See, so Express is downloaded under this node module folders. So now our Express is download, we can use Express. So to use Express, we need to import Express, and importing packages in a node project is a little different. How we import like this. We do a const package name is equal to, we use the require function and import the package. So in node project we import packages like this, and that is the variable. That name you can give anything, but we prefer giving the name. Now we need to convert the Express to a app. How? Like this, const app express, not export Express, like this. So like this we convert our Express to a app. Okay, and just remember this 2 lines is mandatory. All right, now we are all set. Now we just need to create our API and run our server. That's it. We are all set. And creating API is super easy. How can you create API? First, I'm going to create an API to send some data, or I can say I need an API that will give you some data. So for that, I have to use get method. Correct. So I can say app.get. App have so many methods. Get, post. Okay, post, post, put, like that. Okay, so for now I need the get method, and this get method take 2 things. First is the path. What is the path of the API? I can say home is the path of the API, and then the callback. In the callback we are going to write our logic, and in this callback it take 2 things, request and response. Okay, now we are done. That is how means creating API look like. As simple as that. Now we also want to send some data. We want, whenever someone came to this home, I want to send some data. So how can I do that? I say response dot send, and then I can pass some data. This is home, like that. Any data I can pass, and I can pass object also. Okay, now when we are done with this creating API, that is the API look like. Now when we're done with creating API, we need to start listening a port to start our server. I told you what this means. Apps have something called listen. Okay, this listen take port. We need to listen a port. So I can say 3000 is good, and I can give you some, I can give a callback, or I can give a callback function, and I am going to say console.log ser vserver str ped started dot at 3000. Okay, that callback function is totally optional, but I like to give. Okay, now we are all done. We import Express, we convert Express to a app, then we create a get API and in /home, and then we listening our port. Now we are all done. Now we just need to start our server. How can we start our server? We just need to run this index.js by writing node index.js, hit enter, and you can see server started at 3000. So I can go here, I can type localhost 3000 /home, hit enter, and now you can see this is home. Getting it? So we successfully created our first API, which is the get API. And I can do one thing, rather than passing a string, I can pass a object like this. I can create a user object, name, I can say geek, role, I can say one, anything, and I can just pass this user object here, user like that. So, and there is another thing, whenever you make some changes, you need to restart your server. Okay, so I need to restart, I just restart it, and if I now refresh, now you can see I can see the object. Okay, so like that, using response.send, we can send data to the whoever the person requesting the data. So that is how API create means that is how building API look like. Now there is another drawback, like every time I modify something, I need to restart my server. So for that, we have some package called nodemon. Using nodemon, we don't need to restart. Whenever you save our code, it automatically restart the server. So to install use nodemon, we need to install nodemon like npm I nodemon, like that. So this package will be installed, and yeah, now the package is installed. Now go to your packages.json. There should be scripts. Yeah, there. So in the script, I'm going to add another script. I'm going to say start, and the script should be nodemon index.js. What I did wrong? It should be okay. It should nodemon is installed, no? So to verify how nodemon is installed, don't worry. I don't know why it's throwing error. Run the npm start command, obviously. Acha, I didn't give this thing. All right. So after you add this line, now whenever you write npm start, nodemon will start your index.js. I show you. Now I set my script. Now I just type npm start, hit enter. Now you see something different. Now see, now nodemon is started our server. Now every time I save the code, nodemon started our server. Okay, so that is nodemon. All right, now every time we modify, you don't need to restart server manually. Nodemon will take care for us. Okay, now we done that much. We need to understand file structure, and that is very important. There you can see I just remove that much. I will take a simple string only, hello, like that. Okay, now you can see this API, we can create multiple API in a single file, but suppose think we have 1000 API, then we have to handle 1000 API using this index.js. So that is become complex, correct? So we need to distribute thing. How can I do that? You can see there is a link and there is the main logic. That is the link, and this callback is the main logic. There we write the logic. So we are going to distribute thing. We are going to create two folders called router, and we are going to create another folder called TROLLERS controllers. Not under the router actually. Okay, I can fix it. Router, control X, control V. Yep. Okay. So we need this two folder, router and controller. In the router, we are going to put our links, or I can say we are going to put our path in which API means the API link we are going to put. And in the controllers, we are going to write our main logic. Basically, I'm going to put this link to the router folder, and I'm going to put this callback function to the controller folder. Okay, basically we are distributing thing. So let's see how can I do that. First we need to go for the router. We need to first fix the link. So in the router I'm going to create, suppose, to do, or I can say user router.js. Okay, in the user router, what I need to do first, I need to import express. So I can just copy paste and I input express. Now from the express I need to extract router, like that. Const router, router, and now express has something called express.router. Okay, so from this express.router I'm extracting the router. After that I can now set links. I can set the route. How? Like this. I can say router.get, and get will take the logic home. Sorry, not the logic, the path. The path should be home, and it will take a callback, request response. Okay, and like this, and I can just copy paste this thing. Okay, there. All right, so that is the router, and now you're asking, I put the logic here only. Don't worry, I'm going to separate this thing also. And after that I just need to export the router. How can I export router? I'm going to say module.export is equal to router. Now done. We input express, we extract router from the express, we create our router, and we export our router. By doing this, basically we separate our links. Basically we separate our routes. All right, now go to the controllers and create user controllers user controllers.js, and in this user controller I'm going to put this logic. What I can do now, I can just simply copy paste. I can just simply copy, or I can just cut. I came here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a function const control v. The name I have to give get user data, like this. Get user data like this, and yep. So I just create a callback function which give you hello. As simple as that. After you create the callback function, you need to export your callback function. How? Module.exports is equal to get user data. Now done. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to import this get user data in the router. Const get user data is equal to require, and from where? From controllers / user controllers. So from this user controllers I am taking the get user data. I'm just pass the get user data here. So I think now you're getting the flow in the index.js. Okay, the thing is not complete. For now I don't need that code. I'm just separating the link here. Whenever someone came to the home /home, they should get this data, and I just separated this function in this folder. Getting it? I write the same thing, but I just separate things. All right. Okay. And now what we need to do, we need to use router. Meaning to say, what I need to do, first I need to import router. How? Const I can say user router is equal to require / from the routers I need user routers. Okay, and what I need to do, I'm going to write app.use user router, and we are done. See, no error. Now what is going to happen, this index, whenever we run our server, this index.js will be run, and whenever it came this place, it going to execute this file. In this file it can see there is something called /home. So whenever someone came /home, show them execute this function. So whenever someone came the /home, the control will be go here, and this piece of code going to execute. So to prove that, I can came here, I will refresh, and you can see hello, means it was working. So I can show you something like this. the flow is separated like in this manner. First, in the index, I can make it a little small, I guess. First, the index.js execute, and in the index.js the control will be goes to the user router folder. In the user router folder, we put our routers, means we put our links, what should be the path, /home, /about, whatever the path was. And after that, it go to the controller, we write our main logic. Getting it? So rather than writing everything in a single file, we distribute the thing in two separate files. That is the basic file structure in Node.js. For database, we are going to use MongoDB Atlas, which is a cloud platform for MongoDB. How can you use it? First, we need to configure MongoDB Atlas. Then we are going to generate a link, and we are going to connect our application using that link. So go to open your Chrome and type MongoDB Atlas, and you will be landed in this website. So if you are first time using MongoDB Atlas, you need to create an account, obviously. Okay, take a little time because very big application it was. Now click on the sign in, and then sign in with your or if you have account, sign in. If you don't have account, register. That is very easy. You can use Google. Click on the Google icon. It will ask you which account you want to use. Click on the account and it's done. Okay, sign in is not a difficult thing. So I just quickly sign in on my account and we will start. That is so easy actually. We just need to create a database and then a link generated. Using the link, you're going to connect your database with the application. So when you first time open the application, the interface is going to look like this. Now click on the build a database, because you need to first build a database. I'm going you can select the free, that I'm going to obviously select free. Cluster name I can take default, and I'm going to create the cluster, and it's going to ask me the name. I can give you the name. The password, I can give a simple password 1234. After this, I'm going to change the password obviously, and now I'm going to do create user. Okay, make it update 1234, give the password, and then finish and close, and it say congrats, everything is okay. Now go to the database. No thanks. And now done, we create our database. See, after that you see some you're going to see a page like this. Now you need to generate the link. How can you generate? Click on this connect button and then click on the drivers. In the drivers, you can see this link. That is our link. Okay, that is the link we want. Now I just copy the link and I can take it. Okay, now we generated the link successfully. Now we have to connect our database with our project. How can you do that? First, create a db database.js file in the root folder. Okay, in the database.js file, I'm going to create a console. I'm going to create a callback function or a fatter function. Okay, like that, const database and like this. And now I have to export it also. How can I do that? Achha, I make a syntax error, and now I need to export it. How? Like this, module export is equal to database, like that. Very simple, right? And now in the index.js, we just need to connect our database. How? We import it, const database is equal to require from /note database. Okay, and it was const. All right, so now we just need to write our logic to connect our database, and that is super duper simple. But before that, to connect our database, we need something called mongoose. Mongoose basically a library or a module that help us to communicate with the database. So we need mongoose for that. So I can say I first have to install it. So npm install mongoose and hit enter. It will install mongoose for me. All right, and after it install mongoose, using the mongoose I'm going to connect the database. And now there is another thing, that fatter function. that is the asynchronous function. I need to use the asynchronous function because database is always in another continent. So whenever we are working with database, we have to use asynchronous programming. Okay, so okay, I put the async keyword here. Now I need to import mongoose so that I can use it. How can you import? Now you all guys know how can you import. Const mongoose is equal to require mongoose. So we import mongoose. Now under the database, I'm going to do exceptional handling. So I want to use the try catch. So like this, console.log err. So like that, I think you all familiar with this syntax, try catch. In the try, I'm going to write the logic. In the try, I'm going to connect the database. If something wrong happened, then in the catch it will be reflected that what is the wrong thing happened. All right, now in the try, I'm going to connect my database using that link. How can I do that? I'm going to say mongoose dot connect. In this connect method, I'm going to put this link. I can make it like wordwrap. So in the mongoose.connect method, I pass this link, and there also I need to pass two things. Those two data. So I need to pass user new parser true and user unified topology true. That is like something mandatory. You can memorize this thing also. There is no logic. Okay. So this mongoose.connect, I'm going to pass this link. The link we take from the database and the object, and in the link we are going to change the username to Ruhan and the password is 1234. All right, so done. So done. That much code we need to write. That much code we need to connect our database with MongoDB. But now I can do little extra. What I want to do now, if the database is connected, I want to do something. If not connected, then I also want to do something. I'm going to use dot then. So in the dot then, what I need to do, I'm going to pass a callback, and there I need to do a console.log so that database connected, so that I can see if the database is connected or not, and a dot catch. Okay, and there also I need a callback err, and I can do console.log err and like this. Okay, so what it basically does, what this thing basically does, I don't need that err. Okay, so what I just basically do, I import mongoose and I create a callback. I create a fatter function. In the fatter function, I do try catch for exceptional handling. In the try catch, I use mongoose.connect. In this mongoose.connect method, I just pass the URL and I pass this object. Okay, and then I do try, then I do then catch. Why you use then catch? Then catch means if the database is connected, then this is going to execute, and if it is not connected, if some error is there, then this is going to show. Okay, that is not a complex code, you can see it. All right, now I think we are almost done, and we can do npm start to start our server. Let's see our database is connected or not, and I think we should get an error because our database is not connected. Why? Because here we need to give network access also. We just create a database, no, but anybody, like if a person have our link, he can't put our data in our database because that is not allowed. You need to go to the network access, and in the network access you need to edit this thing, and you need to click on the once again add current IP. Nope, cancel. I need to write this thing actually. In the end, you should have an option like I think still not connected. In there you have an option allow everyone. Whenever you click, this IP will be changed to 0000/0, and you will say confirm. So the IP should be 0000/0. If you do that, then everybody can access your database, but still the database is not connected. Why? Because we never run our database. We import the database, but we have to run. How can we run? Just like you call a function, we just call the database, and there it should going to it throw a error, I guess. And atlas error, symbol hacker error, something. There is a good thing also, bad authentication. Authentication means we put wrong password. Acha, the username we put wrong. It was Rohan. And let's see, it was connected or not. I hope so. Now you can see database is connected. And there you can see another thing. I just make little mistake. So that is the mistake you are also going to make. So that is a good thing that you see error. Nothing work in the first time. If something work in the first time, that is very good. But most of the time we expect we are going to see error. Alright, so we successfully connected our database to our application. First of all, we need to fix the problem. The problem is you can see my link, you can see my database connection link, and whenever I am done with my project, I put my project on the GitHub, then this link is also going to push on the GitHub, and anybody who can visit my GitHub profile, he can see my username and password, and using those he can put data on my database. So that is a very big problem. So we need something so that we can hide this link. Basically we need to hide this link somehow. So for that we have something called .env. Using .env we can hide our links. So we have something called .env npm, and you can visit this page, and there first you need to install .env. Control C, I'm going to install it. And what .env does, basically I'm going to create a .env folder. In the .env folder I'm going to put every data that I don't want to push in the GitHub. So I don't want my database URL to push on the GitHub. So I do like this, I say database URL is equal to, and now I'm going to put this URL here. Okay, so now to access this URL I'm going to use the variable name database URL. How? First I start the server, start. Now I'm going to say, rather than doing this, I'm going to write processes .env database underscore URL. So this processes.env came here and take this database URL. Okay, and now why it throwing error? Because we need to put another line where the line is goes, this line. We need to put this line in the index.js here, and done. There will be gone. Okay, so that is .env. You can see our database is connected. So this processes.env.database, from this .env file, using the variable name I'm able to access this thing. So that's how we hide our credentials. Okay, all right. So now what we need to do, we need to create models to put data on our database. Our application is connected with database, but we need to create model to put data on the database, basically to work with database. So to create models, I create a folder called models, and in the models I'm going to create schema. And I told you, suppose we are going to build a application for a to-do app. So a to-do app basically have create to do, read to do, delete to do, and update to do. So we're going to create 4 APIs for a to do application. So I can say to do schema.js. And why I put this schema, you can put to do models, no issues on that. So now to create the models, first we need to create the schema. After that we convert the schema to a model. So for that, now to work with database, who is going to help us? Mongoose. So we need to import mongoose. Require mongoose. So now we are created mongoose. Using mongoose we are going to create schemas. How can you do that? Just create a function to do sch schema. I want to make it small case like this, is equal to a fatter function. You can use normal function, no issues on that. sorry, that is not a function. Todos is equal to mongoose dot a schema. All right, so in this mongoose dot schema we are going to pass a object, and now in the schema we are actually specifically say what data we expect. Okay, for now I want a to, and now after that I put another object and I can give type, means what is the type of the to do, that is the string, and then I can say required is like mandatory or not, and I can say true. So now if you like little confused what I just write, basically I don't do anything. I make it very simple. In my database I only want one data, which is to do. Okay, and now I like be little more precise, like what is the to do type, that is the string, and required true means we have to give the to do. If we don't pass anything or we pass empty, it's not going to work, it's going to throw us error. And now for more information I can, okay, I give you an example, you will understand what is schema. Suppose I'm creating a schema for authentication system, so I need the name of the user, correct? I can just like do it like that. I need the name of the user, I need the suppose password of the user, okay, and that is also mandatory. I need suppose number of the user, okay, or phone number of the user, and what is the type of phone number. So like that I can make it here. Okay, so getting it, I need the name of the user, I need the password of the user, I need the phone number of the user. So like that we can get authentication system. So I think now you get an idea what a schema is all about. In schema we precisely say what data we want. So if we are creating a login system, we want the name, password and the phone number of the user. So like that we are creating a to do, so we don't need that much of the data, we just need the to do, like that, getting it? Now after we done with our schema, now we need to convert our schema to a model, and I can on the fly I can export that. I can say module dot exports is equal to, now I'm going to say mongoose dot model. This mongoose dot model take two things, the model name which was to do, and while creating the model always take the first always take the first alphabet capital, and the second it take the schema which was to do schema, getting it? So now this mongoose dot model going to convert the schema to a model, and the model name is to do, and we are done. Now we are all set to create our APIs. Now the most hardest thing is finish, and the easiest part is going to come. Now so far we've done all the difficult thing, creating the project, creating the file structure, connecting with database and create the models, and now we just need to create our API. So let's see how can we do that. So in the controllers folder I'm going to create a new to do I'm going to create a new to do controller. In this to do controller I'm going to I'm going to create 4 APIs. First to create to do, second to update a to do, third to delete a to do, and fourth to get all the to do. Okay, so for that we need first, what we need our models. Yes, correct. So how can we import our models? Like that, to do is equal to require, and from where we need to import our models, from the models underscore to do models. So we import our models. Now I need a getter function, there I'm going to write my logic to put data on the database. So I just quickly create a function, const post to do, I think that is sound good, and that function is a asynchronous function. So I'm going to use this async keyword, and it obviously takes a request and a response. All right, and that much. All right, now I have to use try catch for exceptional handling, like that, and this err I can take, and err, yeah, now we are all set. and in the last thing I need to export this function so that I can use it. So I can say module dot exports is equal to, now I'm going to use this curly braces. Why? Because I'm going to export multiple functions. So in the curly braces, by putting come, I can export multiple functions. So for now I need to export this function, and done. Now here we are going to write our main logic, correct? So first, how can we put data on the database? Before that, just quickly start our server, npm start, and it will start it. Come on, it will start it, and our database should be connected. Our database is also connected. Now putting data on the database is the easiest thing. Let's see how can I do that. I just create a variable const, I can say succ success is equal to, and I have to use await because I'm working with a database, and database is always in another container. So whenever you are working with database, you need to use await. Now I'm going to say to do, I'm going to call my model to do dot, that is have a create method, create. I know it's not giving suggestion, but this to do has a create method. In this create method, I'm going to pass a object which is to do, and where yeah, I show you, it was like to do, and this is the to do, like that. If I run the program, this thing will be saved in the database. And where this to do coming from the schema. In the schema, you remember we create a to do, so we are writing this to do here, getting it? And what is the value? The value should be this. But the problem is, every time we need to pass some unique to do. If I make the thing like this, every time we going to execute this function, this thing is going to put on the database again and again. We want unique data every time. So what we can do now, we have something called parameters. What is parameter? I show you. Came to the router folder, and okay, a user router I can take. In the router folder, first I just remove this thing. Okay, I'm going to create a new router dot post to put, to send data to the database. We use post method, so router dot post. Okay, and there the path should be post to do, like that. That is the path. Now we have something called parameters. What is parameters? I can put another slash, I can put this thing, and I can say to do. Writing to do is not mandatory. You can write any keyword, anything, any name you can give here, but I can give to do. So what happened now? Whenever we are going to hit the URL should be localhost 3000 slash post to do slash this is my to do. Getting it? Don't worry, if you don't get it, you will get this. That is easy only. And now I don't want this thing. What I want my get a post to do, and it automatically import it. It automatically imports and it put it here. All right. Now we are almost done, but rather than doing this, I'm going to say request dot params dot to do. So from this request dot params, we get this to do. For basically after this thing, in this portion, whatever you write, this thing will be came to this to do. Okay, and for I can just console.log. So whenever I execute the function, you have an idea what is this happening. Okay, now we are all done. We are all done with our code. This code will be work. This code will put our data on the database. But for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a check. If it was successful, if putting the data to the database was successful, then I want to pass something. I want to give a message that everything is good. So I'm going to say request response dot send, and I'm going to say I'm going to pass a message, message. Once again I need to pass a object. In that object I am to pass a message, and the message was to do created, to do created. Okay, And now there is another thing. We have something called status code. Status code basically represent our work is done, or if there is some error. Every problem and every successful operation has a status code. So every time you push your code, every time you put your data successfully in the database, the status code is 200. So I can say response dot status status, which has a status code of 200. So response dot status basically this means our data successfully sent to the database, and then using this send we send a object, as simple as that. And if any case this thing failed, our data didn't go to the database successfully, that case the status code will be 400. 400 means something is wrong, and the message will be not created. All right, so I think we are almost done to check our first API. We are almost done with the coding and came to here. All right, now I can show you the flow. Index.js. In the index.js we are go to the router. In the router we created a post router. Whenever someone came, localhost slash post to do slash whatever the to do you have to put on the database, this to do string, then this to do post to do function is going to execute. Means the control will came here, and here the code is so simple. That is just a try catch, that is just a console.log, that is just some if else. The main code is this is the main line of logic, and there what we are doing, we have a to do. Where you get this to do from the models. From this to do has a method of create. Using this to do dot create we are passing an object, and this object going to send to the database. All right, so now how can you check our API is working or not? So go to your extension section. You can, by the way, you can use Postman also. Type Thunder client. There is a this thing, and you can install this extension. This extension will help you to do the API testing. And I already installed. I can there Sigma, yeah, there. Okay, so in the Thunder client, click on the new request, and now you can make it. And now what is the URL? http:// one thing that is not https, that is http, and it was like localhost 3000. And what is the name? Post to do. I don't need the release note. Post to do. After that, whatever the data you want to post, so I can say this data, or I can say this, or I can say cook food, like that. Okay, and I can put underscore. And you saying that why can I put space? So you can put space, but I just forgot. I think this thing is used for space. Okay, we can just try. So that is the URL. There we are going to hit. Our method is the post method. And now let's see our API is working or not. So if I just send the data, some error is coming. So it was saying cook food error, can't set the header after they are sent to this thing is happening because we need to do something like we need to, this application is not capable to handle JSON data. So we need to make it capable handle JSON data. How? We need to do two things. We need to say app.use express.json, this thing, and again we have to say app.use URL encoded, and it was like extended. You need to write true, this thing. So you need to write these two lines. These two lines are mandatory. Okay, now after we write this two line, now our application is capable to handle JSON data. So now if I make a request, you can see still to do created, something is came here, don't worry about that, but you can see we get a status code of 2000, means everything is okay. Message to do created. Now just go to our database to see our to do is actually created or not, and I can go to cloud.mongodb.com. Okay, now MongoDB is open. Now click on the browse collections, and there you can see it. Okay, and there you can see now some to-dos was created, and there cook food was successfully sent to our database. 2 times sent because first time is also sent. Now in URL, you can see now I need to put space also. So I can say in URL, how can I put space space? I can just search it quickly. It was like this thing, I guess, but not, we are not worried about this thing. Okay, we can say cook food. Okay, space you can give, no issues on that. You just need to look for what, how we can put space. I think just see it, is it working or not. Okay, send it again. Data is data is successfully put it on the database, came to the database, there refresh the database, and nope, it's not there, but it's okay, that is not a big deal. Okay, all right, and that is one way. Second thing, we can do we can pass the data in the body, but I'm not worried about that right now to put body. All right, so that's how we can create our data. Sorry, so that how we can put our data to the database, and there is only one line of logic there. This is the line number 6 is the line you need to understand. All right, so now we are done with with posting data to the database. Now we can see how can we update a specific data from the database. Okay, for now I'm going to I can just copy this thing. Okay, because most of the code is same only, and I can paste it here. I can change the name to update to do, and I don't need that much, but I can take it also, no issues on that. So from here, this line, no, only this line I need to remove. Every line, everything will be same. And yep, okay, so now how to update? So just like in to do, we have also a method. The method name I just forgetting. Find by ID and update, I just forwarded it, so no issue. I can search find by ID and update. I just need the spelling actually. I know that. I just need the spelling. Okay. So I just need the spelling where it is. How find by ID and update. I can say copy. Yep. And I can put it here. Control V. Oh no. I just copied it and paste it here. Find by ID and update. That, and this thing take two things. First it take ID, and the second thing it take a object. In the object it take the to do, and what is the to do? Request dot params dot to do, like that. So now we need to pass our ID and to do. How can I do that? Just close this thing. Now in the parameters, came to the router, we are going to create another router to update the to do. So just create another router, and to update a item, it was a put method. So we are going to use put method. Whenever you have to update something, that time we use put method. In the put method, I can give the path update to do, and then I need to give the ID, and then I need to again give the to do, whatever the means updated to do and to put. So I can say updated to do. Okay, and I think that is okay, that is good. And there also I can just quickly export this thing, update to do, and I can import here update to do. All right, good. So now everything is sorted. We just need to do request.param.id. It will be request.params.id and done. And now I think you get it how this request.param.id is coming in this URL. Request.params, this is the ID. Whatever the data I put after slash, that thing became ID, and again after slash, whatever the data I put, that became the updated to do. Okay, all right, so we are all done. Now we need to say put, and what is the URL? Update to do, control here, and update to do, control V. Now I need the ID. Which one I need to update? Actually I just want to update this thing. Okay, I can just copy it like this, control C, came it here. So first one is id and the second one is to do. So I can say updated to do, like that. Now I can just there is one thing, to do created, I can say to do updated and not updated. All right, so now I can came here, just send the request and it should work. Something is wrong, I guess so. To do updated. So came to our web database, refresh, see it was really updated or not. And you can see one second, cook food. Nope, it is not working. So let's see why it was not working. Some error is there. Undefined database connected, undefined. So there, this thing is saying request.para to do is undefined. There it was. Acha. It was updated to do. That is the problem. It will going to be updated to do, and this was also updated to do, and now it's done. Now it's fixed. Getting it? This name and this name have to be same. Okay, so now we are sorted. Let's try again. Now again saying to do updated. Yeah, updated to do is there, and let's see our database is updated or not. I think now you can see now this time it was updated. So two APIs is created successfully. We create the API to put data on the database. We create the API to update data on the database. Now we have to create another API to delete data from the database, and that is also super easy. Okay, I just paste it. I can say delete to do. I have to export this also, delete to do, and there I just need the ID. I don't need this console.log and something. I don't need that much. There is a method called find by ID and delete. So I can say find by ID and delete. Okay, I hope so. This is the method, find by ID and delete, and just pass the ID. It will be delete that. Okay, and to do, I can use alt to do deleted. Getting it? So like in this to do model now basically contain methods. If you want to update, if you want to create, it has a create method. If you want to update a particular data, then we have find by ID and update. If you want to delete, then we have find by ID and delete. So basically this to do model contains some methods. Using that method is you can easily talk with the database. Okay, so like that we have a find by ID and delete, and it just take the ID and delete that. So I think we are all done. This API is also set. We just need to create the router. Came here, and that time we are going to use delete method because we are going to delete item. And I can say to do delete, and it take obviously the ID. So slash ID, like that, and the function I want to execute was delete to do. All right, now we are all set. Came here, we want to go for delete method, and what is the route name? This. So control V, and now we just give to the ID. I just cross check ID, everything is spelling is correct, everything is correct. All right, this to do is not required. Now whatever the to do I wanted to delete, I can just copy the link of this to do. I want to delete this one, or there is duplicates, no? So I want to delete the last one. No, I can delete this one only, updated to do. I can just copy it, copy the ID, and I can paste it here. Control V. I can just send the request, and yeah, to do deleted. So let's came to our database, refresh, see our to do is deleted or not, and yep, you can see our to do is deleted. So see, there is just only one line of code to do that, means talk with the database. There is just only one line of code. To do that much is super easy. You can just like memorize that much. This thing is something you need to browse sometime. If you forgot the method name, whatever you have to do with the database, you have a method for that. You just need to Google it and find out the method. That is super easy. It is just like someone giving you a function, and you just fill the function and your work is done. So a mongoose giving us this find by id and delete function. We just fill the data and our work is done. All right, now just last API we have to build, which was to fetch all the data from the database. So again, I can not like this, I can just copy the entirety of this code, I can paste it here, I can just change the name to get to do. Okay, and I can export that get to do like this, and that is also easy. There we don't need that much. This to do have something called find. So what this find method does in this to do model means basically in this to do database, whatever the data we have, it just fetch all the database and put it to the success. And now what I want in the object, I am to pass two things. Success also I can pass, and putting a comma I can say to do message, I can say message is okay, and there is not okay, not okay. Okay, all right. So get the point. We are going to fetch all the to dos. If we successfully able to fetch there, then we are passing all the to dos and a message. And if something is wrong, then we are passing a message called not okay. So we are almost done. Let's see. And oh, not almost done. We need to create router for that. So I can say router, and now we are getting data from the database. So we are going to use get method, and the part will be get to do like this. No parameter is needed here, and I use get to do function here, and we are done. I just came here, I just copy it. I know I can write it, but I'm a big typo guy, I make spelling mistakes. So okay, I don't need this id, I need to make the method to get and hit enter, and you can see I just minimize this thing, and you can see we have two to dos. We have a success, under that we have a array, under the array we have all our to dos. We have two to dos only, we have two to dos only, no? So you can see we have our two to dos. So that easy to create APIs for a to do application, basically to create APIs in Nodejs. So thank you so much guys for watching this video, and see you in the next course.